another week begins. We are going to start with our quote in the reading. It's from Bishop Thomas Ken. He says, "Praise God, for whom all blessings flow. It is easy to keep wanting more and to forget to give thanks for the blessings we already have. The world is such a beautiful place. We can spend eternity taking it all in, appreciating the wonder all around us. Sometimes we get caught up in our petty affairs or become so absorbed in our day-to-day lives that we forget to observe. At those times, we may notice only what we don't have, rather than giving thanks for what we have. When that happens, it's time to stop and look around. Comfort and beauty surround us if only we take a moment to appreciate them. Our higher power has given us a universe of opportunity, free for asking. We are in recovery. We have the dazzle of a sunrise and sunset, the complex workings of our own bodies, friends who are changing like we are, friends who care, and a program to follow for a new life. It may be a struggle, and we may be tempted to give up, but part of recovery is taking time to notice what we have. So many blessings are ours, and life is filled with so much to be thankful for, if only we can learn to look for it. Today, help me see beyond everyday matters and realize the richness of my life. Help me to see what I have rather than what I don't have and what I think I should have." Oh, little entitlement there in that last line. Help me to see what I have rather than what I don't have or what I think I should have. Oh, that struck a nerve if you couldn't tell. That's okay. So that sounds like gratitude to me. And as I was reading, some of the thoughts that went through my head were as follows. I love being just randomly impromptu with you guys. Whoops, my microphone's misbehaving. One of the first things that came to mind as far as gratitude is checking in about am I taking notice of how lucky I am and how blessed I am. And this is one of those things that I have been struggling with, not to have the gratitude or appreciation, not to look at all I have versus what I don't have. It's finding a way to be a little bit more, I don't know if modest is the word. Like, I feel guilty at times, being happy. And this is my own shit, right? Like, nobody else could do this, but I feel a little guilty sometimes that I don't have to worry necessarily about my job, that, I have a vehicle to drive. Like, I'm doing okay. There's no basic need that I want or need or want. I don't know how to say it. So sometimes I feel a little bad, especially in a situation like this. And I have to, again, practice what I preach, because if you told me that, I would tell you, you didn't just get it. You didn't hit the lotto or inherit a ton of money. And I don't have a ton of money, but it's not like that. I actually have earned and worked for the things that I have. And I do appreciate them because I did do that. I didn't get them handed to me. I didn't have them handed to me. Anyway, I totally digress a lot lately. One of my favorite things to do, and this is part of my long-term, when I want to share more things with the world, like in person, I take pictures when I go on walks of all the flowers not all the flowers, but a lot of flowers that I come across, trees, and you'll see that on my social media as well. I just love the beauty of the flowers. Now, granted, I'm a flower person, and I believe that flowers make you smile, but it's very interesting to just look for them. Or, like when I'm in Florida at convention, there's bird of paradise along the way. Or just being able to, you don't even have to appreciate the flowers. even the trees. Like, we were golfing on Saturday, and because everything's just been so wacky, the golf course almost looked more like a fall. The trees were confused, but to even take notice of that, when I was gambling, I wasn't looking at no trees. I wasn't looking at flowers. I wasn't taking walks. Walks would have took away from my time, you know? I'm exaggerating a little, but it was a go, go, go mode, or my brain wasn't engaged enough in what was around me. It goes back to being present. So now that I can actually see what's going on and be part of noticing the beauty and being grateful for all things big and small, I still don't think I'm grateful for snakes and spiders, but most other things I'm pretty content with. And I don't know if it's is it a learned habit, or does it just come naturally from our head being clear? Like, does the fog get lifted and all of a sudden we notice, that there's this beautiful world and how lucky we have it? There was this story. There's a family at group, and they speak a lot at our events. And they tell a story about the husband was the gambler. And they tell the story about how when he got clean and started, working his recovery and stuff, he discovered Florida. And the joke of it is, Florida's been there all along, but you don't go to Disney when you gamble away the family fortune, So a lot could be had by just stopping. And when you stop, and if you can get out of the thinking about the addiction, or thinking about the next bet, or thinking about the circumstance that leads you to the next bet, you can see some of this other stuff. We've talked about that full hand, right? Like, if your hand is and heart and are full of shit, you don't have room to put the good stuff. So if we get rid of the bad stuff, bad's a relative word, but if we stop gambling, then there's room, more time, more energy that could be dedicated to the things we can be grateful for. Same premise as we can't be positive and negative at the same time. It just doesn't work. So I love that. It's when it's time, when we get in that forgetting to observe mode, we really got to try to shift gears and just take a look around, stop, take a walk down by the water, the woods, anywhere. Just go get some nature. Look at even, all right, so if you couldn't walk, you can go drive around and just take sight of buildings. That's another neat little thing. It's not my jam, but I live in a neighborhood. Well, you hear the main street all the time with the motorcycles and the sirens, but behind me is a historical area from like the 1600s. And just going through there and seeing the architecture and a little bit of the history. Again, I'm not a big history person, if I'm being honest, but it's still interesting, and I can see it now. There was a lot of time I had been in that neighborhood, and I never really saw it or appreciated it for what it was. Reason being, I was usually drunk when I was in the neighborhood, so I don't have a lot of memories other than hitting the different bars in there. So it applies with drinking too. If I'm not drinking and I'm sober, I can actually see what's around me. That's part of why I kind of like not having alcohol and reintroducing it yet, is I don't want to give up that part, that clear mind. It's so nice to have a clear mind. Now if I could just get rid of every aspect of smoking, the vape and the cheap cigars. I still haven't had a cigarette, but because I had the cigars, it doesn't really count. And I'm telling you this because I really need to get committed to not smoking anything, not having my vape, any of my crutches. Well, baby steps. Luckily, I forgive myself a lot. After having a beautiful weekend, we're back to rain, So that'll be part of my Happy Monday. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you tonight.